So here is my bicycle upside down, and it's bicycle maintenance day today. I wanted to change the brake pads, and I've been putting off changing the brake pads for a little while because I've been trying to get something with which I can fix an issue that I have, mostly with the front wheel and the front brake. And it's not actually a problem with the brakes at all, but I wanted to make a video just showing how I'm going to do this, how I'm going to set it up, and the difference that it makes, because I couldn't find anything online when I was looking a few weeks ago at how to fix my problem. So my problem, I have these TRP Spyke brakes, which are really good. They're kind of a very powerful dual piston brake that have become one of the finer standards of mechanical disc brakes. But the problem that I have is actually with the way that I built the wheels. So I built this bicycle myself, and when I was selecting components, I didn't realize this was going to be a problem. I got these 36 spoke DT Swiss rims. I think they're the 552H or something. I took the labels off to try and be as brandless as possible. But I also got these DT Swiss Alpine III spokes because I wanted a very strong spoke option so that I can have wheels that are really going to last. And one of the features of these spokes is that they actually taper out to be thicker. I don't know what that is, about 2 millimeters down at the base where they come out of the hub, because this is one of the main places that spokes usually snap. So they have extra strength in this section, but that means that they're a little bit fatter in this section. And the calipers are pretty fat. And the hub that I have is a dynamo hub, a Shutter Precision PD8 dynamo, which means that it's rather large here. And all of this kind of leads to having the spokes at a slightly steeper angle than you would if you had a smaller hub, or indeed having smaller rims would also make a difference. But the problem, of course, then is that I've had very, very little clearance between these rather fat hubs and the rather fat spokes at the angle that they're at. So that has meant that I haven't been able to set the front caliper up with perfect centering. I've had to adjust, you have an adjustment for either side, the pad either side, so I've had to just adjust the outer pad more inward and pull the caliper further away so that I don't get it clipping the spokes on rotation. And this means that I've had rather uneven pad wear. It's still been perfectly functional. I haven't had any issues. I've been riding pretty heavy bikes down, or a pretty heavy bike, down some pretty steep mountain roads here in Norway, and everything's been fine. I've had no actual issues with the braking. But one of the bonuses of having these particular brakes is, of course, it being dual piston, you're meant to have kind of equal pressure either side when you're braking against the rotor. So your pad should wear evenly, rather than usually when you just have pushing from one side, you just have one pad which is wearing down. So for even pad wear and longer pad life, that's one of the reasons I got these brakes. And I haven't been able to really appreciate that because on the front it's been impossible. As you can see, this is currently, this is the position that I've had the caliper in, and the brake pads are fully pulled out. So I've just put in brand new pads, and I have hopefully a solution if I can find what I've just done with them. Maybe they're in my pocket. Yeah. So I was looking, I thought perhaps the only solution, not knowing a great deal about bicycles, was to actually get larger rotors. These are already 180 millimeter, so that's 6 inch roughly. And I thought I did that partially because I was aware that I might have a little bit of issue with the fat calipers in the beginning. So rather than having 160, I ordered 180. And I was thinking, okay, now I've got a problem. Maybe I need to get another adapter that can pull the caliper out a little bit more so that it's further away from this part of the spoke, and get 203 millimeter rotor for the front, which is an 8 inch for Americans. So I was looking at that, and somebody suggested instead that I get some of these. So I got these. They're little, get them out of the bag. I haven't used them yet. I've been waiting until an appropriate time. They're these tiny, I think they're 0.2 millimeters each, and you get 8 of them in a pack. These little shims, which are designed mostly for people apparently who are using 2 wheel sets, so that you can make sure that your rotors are properly spaced for quick wheel swaps. And you get 8 of them in a pack, and they obviously go behind the rotor to bring the rotor further out from the wheel. So I'm hoping that using a number of these shims, I'm going to be able to bring my rotor out enough that I can perfectly center the rotor to get these brakes set up the way that I want them to be set up. So that's what I'm going to do, and I wanted to show a demonstration because I couldn't really find any videos actually talking about these and seeing if they were going to fix my problem before buying them. So we shall see now if they fix my problem. Today's a bike maintenance day, and I kind of wanted to just give a demonstration of something that I haven't been able to see really on YouTube. I was looking recently. So I've just changed my pads in my disc brakes. I have these TRP Spyke brakes, and they're like a dual piston, so they push from either side. But an issue that I've had with this bicycle, mostly just because of the way that I built the bicycle, not because there's any issue with the actual brakes. The brakes have pretty fat calipers, and when I was selecting the wheels, I built this bicycle myself and chose all the components. I went for these DT Swiss Alpine III spokes, which, if you can see, they kind of taper to being quite fat at the bottom, so that they have extra strength at the hub end to protect from snapping. But the issue that I have is on 622mm rims, having these slightly fatter spokes, plus being on a dynamo hub, which means that the hub has a slightly wider